You just paid $60 to fill up your tank. The gas station charged you $4 per gallon. 15 gallons. $60. The station made about 50 cents on that entire transaction. 50 cents. On a $60 sale. They're not making money from the gas. They're barely breaking even. So how do gas stations stay in business? I'm Dr. Bush, and this is Modern Magnates. Today I'm showing you one of the most counterintuitive business models in America. Gas stations don't profit from gas. They profit from everything else. Let's follow the money. First, let's break down what happens when you pump gas. You paid $4 per gallon. Where does that money go? The largest chunk goes to crude oil costs. That's the raw material that gets refined into gasoline. Right now, each crude oil costs represent about 50 to 60% of the pump price. On your $4 gallon, roughly $2.20 goes to crude oil. Next, refining costs. Turning crude oil into usable gasoline. That's about 50 cents per gallon. Distribution and marketing. Getting that gas from the refinery to the station's underground tanks. Another 40 cents per gallon. Federal and state taxes. This varies by state, but the average is about 50 cents per gallon. Add it up. $2.20 for crude. 50 cents for refining. 40 cents for distribution. 50 cents in taxes. That's $3.60 in costs. You paid $4. The station keeps 40 cents, right? Wrong, because we're not done with costs yet. Credit card processing fees, most people pay with credit cards. And the station pays 2 to 3% of the transaction to Visa, MasterCard, or whoever. 3% of $4 is 12 cents per gallon. Now we're down to 28 cents of margin per gallon. But there's more. The station has to pay for electricity to run the pumps, maintenance on those pumps, insurance, property taxes on the land, salaries for employees who monitor the pumps and help customers. Industry estimates put these operational costs at about 20 to 23 cents per gallon. Your $4 gallon of gas, the station makes about 3 to 5 cents in actual profit. 3 to 5 cents. On $4, that's a profit margin of less than 2%. You just spent $60 filling your tank. The gas station made maybe 75 cents in profit. Now you understand why gas stations get nervous when crude oil prices spike. Their margins are already razor thin. When oil prices jump, they often can't raise pump prices fast enough to cover costs. They actually lose money on gas during price spikes. So if they're barely making money on gas, how do they survive? Walk inside. That's where the real business is. The convenience store. Let me show you the numbers. You buy a 20-ounce bottle of soda. You paid $2.50. The gas station paid about 70 cents for that bottle wholesale. Their profit, $1.80. That's a 72% profit margin. On one bottle of soda, compare that to the 3% margin on gas. You buy a bag of chips, $3.50. Wholesale cost to the station, about $1.20. Profit, $2.30. 66% margin, candy bar, $2. Cost, 60 cents. Profit, $1.40. 70% margin, coffee, $2 for a medium. Cost to make, including the cup, lid, coffee grounds, and cream, about 40 cents. Profit, $1.60. 80% margin, hot dog from the roller grill, $3. Cost about 80 cents. Profit, $2.20. 73% margin. Let's say you came in just to buy gas, $60 at the pump. Station profit, 75 cents. But you also grabbed a soda, chips, and a coffee. Total, $8. Station profit on those items, $5.60. You spent $68 total. The gas station made $6.35 in profit. 93% of their profit came from the $8 you spent inside, not the $60 you spent on gas. This is the real business model. Gas is the loss leader. It gets you to the property. Once you're there, the convenience store is where they make money. Industry data backs this up. The average gas station in America generates about 60 to 70% of revenue from fuel sales. But fuel typically accounts for only 20 to 30% of profit. Flip that around. Convenience store items generate 30 to 40% of revenue, but 70 to 80% of profit. The National Association of Convenience Stores reports that the average gas station makes about 2 cents per gallon on gas. But convenience store items have average margins of 30 to 35%. That's why gas stations push you to come inside, why they advertise snacks on pump screens, why they offer rewards programs for in-store purchases. They need you to buy something other than gas. This is also why you see gas stations building bigger and bigger convenience stores. Some look more like small grocery stores now. Bigger selection, more food options, coffee bars, made-to-order sandwiches. They're not gas stations that happen to have stores. They're stores that happen to sell gas. Some chains have taken this even further. Wawa, Sheetz, Buc-ee's. These aren't really gas stations anymore. They're destination convenience stores that also offer fuel. Buc-ee's locations are massive. Some have over 100 gas pumps and stores the size of a small Walmart. Why? Because the real money is inside. Let's look at a real-world example. A typical gas station might sell 2,000 gallons of gas per day. At 3 cents profit per gallon, that's $60 in daily profit from fuel. The same station might have 300 customer transactions in the convenience store per day. Average transaction, $8. Average margin, 35%. That's $2,400 in revenue and $840 in profit from the store per day. Fuel profit per day, $60. Store profit per day, $840. The store generates 14 times more profit than the fuel. This is why some gas stations have started offering cheaper gas to compete. They can afford to cut fuel margins even thinner, or even lose money on gas if it drives more foot traffic to the store. The gas isn't the product, you are. Here's something else most people don't realize. Many gas stations don't even own the fuel they sell. Major brands like Shell, Exxon, and BP often operate on a franchise or dealer model. The station owner buys fuel from the oil company, but doesn't actually own the brand. They pay for the privilege of displaying that logo. The oil company makes money from refining and selling the fuel wholesale. The station owner makes money from the convenience store. The brand name on the sign? That's just to give you confidence in the fuel quality. But the real business is selling you Doritos and Mountain Dew. This business model explains a lot of weird things about gas stations. Hanash, why do they all sell basically the same snacks at the same high prices? Because they're all playing the same game. High-margin impulse purchases. Why don't they negotiate better prices from Coke or Frito-Lay? They do, at scale. Big chains get volume discounts, but they keep retail prices high because customers expect it. You're used to paying more at a gas station. Why do they focus so much on coffee programs? Because coffee has huge margins, repeat customers, and brings people in daily. A customer who buys coffee every morning is worth far more than someone who just gets gas. Why are gas station bathrooms often inside the store? To force you to walk past the snacks. You came for the bathroom, you leave with a drink and chips. Every design choice is about getting you inside and getting you to buy. Now you might be thinking, okay, but what about electric vehicles? If gas stations make no money on gas anyway, what happens when everyone drives EVs? Good question. The convenience store business doesn't change. They'll just replace pumps with EV chargers. And here's the thing, EV charging takes longer than pumping gas. 15 to 30 minutes for a meaningful charge. That's 15 to 30 minutes of potential convenience store browsing. The gas station business model might actually get better with EVs. Some chains are already testing this. Wawa is installing EV chargers. Sheetz too. They see the transition coming and they're not worried because their real business isn't fuel. It's selling you snacks while you wait. So next time you stop for gas, look around. Notice how the store is laid out. High margin items at eye level. Drinks in the back so you walk past everything else. Candy at the register for impulse buys. You came for gas. They tolerate selling you gas. What they really want is for you to buy a Coke, chips, and a hot dog. Because that's where they actually make money. That's how the business works. Gas is the bait. The convenience store is the trap. And we walk in willingly because we're thirsty and it's convenient. This is Modern Magnates. I follow the money so you understand how the world really works. Tomorrow, I'm breaking down why Costco sells $5 rotisserie chickens at a loss. Spoiler, it's the same strategy, different product. If you want to understand where your money really goes, subscribe. New investigation every day? Drop a comment. What business should I break down next? Car dealerships? Gyms? Movie streaming? I'm Dr. Bush. Thanks for following the money with me. See you tomorrow.